Good to go.
we're
You're
recording,
good to go.
Yeah, well, we're here for Man Just Cried, myself, Shane Gorry, and Kieran O'Loughlin, also known as Wally O'Loughlin. Yeah, so I know we'll start off by an old introduction on ourselves. My name's Shane. I'm a recovering addict. I'm also an up-and-coming rapper, you could say. Here to talk about mental health for men, how our own struggles, how we got out of our own struggles, and yeah, I suppose I start off back in school. I would have been bullied for having a bit of weight on me, and didn't have a problem with my mental health back then because I didn't really know much about it. But I would have been escaping in school, acting the cod, looking for attention off teachers. Eventually getting introduced to weed. I think it was 14, 15, and yeah, didn't think it was a problem. I wasn't smoking that much every couple of weeks, but it progressed to every week and then eventually every day. During my leaving cert I was smoking, lost motivation from it. Didn't fail my leaving cert, didn't do a higher level subject either. Left school, started smoking, started working and left school. Had the money to smoke then, but got introduced to the crime side of drugs and how I could get drugs for free. Eventually picked up cocaine, and that's when life changed. I was in a nightclub the first time I took coke. Nightlife wasn't the same ever since that. Fell in love with coke. My first love was cocaine, unfortunately, you know. But started getting in trouble with the guards then. House get raided. Falling out with my mother. Kept it all from my father for a while, but eventually he found out. I joined the army in 2018 to get away from it all. But I didn't get away from it all. Got away from it all physically, but I didn't get away from it all mentally. Got an image for myself. I always had an image when the minute I started smoking. Who I was involved with and what I was involved with. And the army just upped that a notch because I thought I had this shield on me because I was in the army, whatever, like, but I was only fooling myself. Got a car and all that while I was in the army, and I was up in Galway one night, the night before the Christmas party. I brought up a lot of cocaine down my bollocks, down the boxer shorts, and ran into a checkpoint. And they didn't search me or anything, but they swabbed me, and I tested cocaine positive, and brought me down to the cop shop and took me bloods, and I bluffed them and I said it was took it a few days beforehand, but I think it was only an hour beforehand. Like I would have been out my head driving, like, you know. I'm lucky it was the guards that stopped me and not like that didn't hit someone, like, you know. That always played on my mind. But yeah, I drove out of Galway that night, and within a matter of months I was discharged from the army. I knew I had a problem. I was in denial for years about it. Yeah, I got kicked out of the army. I told them that I had a problem, and they sent me to a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist said I didn't have a problem. So I just put up a big FU attitude towards everything, left the army, got a job back in Tullamore in Eurojoint, within a matter of months, at the start of the pandemic. At the same time I was introduced to music then as well, another love that I found, better than any drug for me anyways. That took me away from cocaine for a few months, I think 2 months, but I was still smoking more than I ever smoked weed. And yeah, one thing led to another then, and my music started doing good, and I thought I'd treat myself, go out there and go on the bag. After getting 10,000 views on a song, you deserve it and all this. And that was just the addict brain of mine thinking that, you know, I didn't know what an addict was back then. I know now, when I look in the mirror I see a recovering addict, you know. But yeah, summer 2020 was a rough summer for me. I was in the height of it, in bed all day if I wasn't working, up all night if I wasn't working, even if I was working. Unfortunately, I don't think I've ever said this before, but I would have been in work and I would have been out of my head. Yeah, just mad going into the toilet on my lunch break and all that crack. It's madness looking back. But I moved to my cousin's house then, and I was in my cousin's house at the time, yeah, and ended up getting her house raided and found a couple of grams of coke. Had to hand myself into the guard station that night for questioning, and they're trying like, I know, you know how the guards are, like, try do this and do that, but I wouldn't budge, like, you know, and try to turn it, what if your cousin's daughter gets took off and all this, the Child Protective Services, and he was like, wow, they're really going down this road with it. But I kind of knew I was covered, like, you know, I knew that wasn't an issue, that they were just trying to prod at me, like, you know. But came out of the gas station that night and I was like, wow, imagine my cousin's daughter got took off because of me and my drug problem. And there was that week I made a decision to go to treatment, and took me, I think, 2 months waiting to get into treatment. Done a couple of assessments, given me clean urines and that, and I was motivated then. I set off to Cork after that. I think I only used twice between making the decision to go to treatment and when I actually got into treatment. And I pleaded with them to let me in before Christmas. So I went into Cumorra in Athy last December the 21st. And life's been uphill since. I do have, like, I did still suffer with my mental health. Like, even when I came out of treatment, I rushed into a relationship and I went south, and that just didn't do my head any justice, like, you know. My problem was rejection, kind of still is rejection, but I'm coping with it a bit better these days. But and even though I wasn't on drugs, I still wanted to die. I didn't want to be alive, you know. I'm surrounded by a lot of people that support me and support what I'm doing, which is good in situations like that. Like, I can pick up the phone and ring. Like, even before I tried to kill myself, I was contemplating jumping out in front of a car. I was in the middle of town, and I was like, tears rolling on my face, middle traffic booming, and I was like, will I jump? And then I just snapped over. I rang my sponsor, and I told him I was in tears on the phone, and him straight away, shout out to Rory because he's a good man. Straight away, he came in, he dropped everything, and he came into me, collected me, stayed out in his house that night. And that's what it's about, having people around you that you can talk to. You don't have to feel like you'd be judged, like, you know. Certain people will judge you, but they're the people, you don't talk to people that judge you. You talk to people that don't judge you, that, like, just accept who you are and what you are. And obviously, he's a like-minded person of mine, like, he's in recovery too, so it was good that I could open up to him, like, and ever since I met him, we grew a good bond grew between us. And I got over that kind of, and then a few weeks later, my head just went on me again, and it's mad. Suppose keep it real, won't we? I went down to the Cloonan's Hardware in Tullamore and I bought a rope, and I went down the canal line, hung the rope around the tree. I put my neck in the rope, and my whole life flashed before my eyes. Like, on the whole build up to that, there was just out. I want peace. And obviously I won't get peace. I'm going to pass me pain onto all my family, onto everyone that cares about me, that loves me. My problems would have just been multiplied. Yeah, so I took my neck out of the noose, and I rang Rory again. And I don't know, that wasn't a good phone call for him to get, but at the same time, he would rather me ring him than get a phone call saying Shane's gone, you know. That's the reality of it. That's just, you need to talk, because even talking, like, you can still get to that stage. It's just, it's in the brain, everything goes, the brain's a dangerous place to be. That's why with this I want to just encourage people to talk, because some people aren't strong enough to talk, and they just go on to take their life, or they hurt themselves, and their family are left in agony then and in pain. And I don't want that for my family, and I certainly don't want it for other people's families. So all I can do is get together with a couple of lads and discuss it, and hopefully people get the strength to speak up and what's going on in their life, and that a rope or a knife or any way of self-harm is not the answer, you know. It's a problem shared is a problem solved, or a problem shared is a problem halved. It's not just quite, so that's, and then after that, then I've gone to church a lot since I got out of treatment, you know, and that's been a huge source of support for me, you know. Everyone out there, they're it's like another family out there, you know, and that's been good for me. Like, they support me, and I don't know, in recovery, higher power is a big thing, and I have a good relationship with my higher power. I shied away from my higher power during that dark phase. I think it was only 3 months ago that, like, I wanted to end things, you know. So from then, like, it's only been uphill since, and only 2 weeks ago this idea came into my head, and I was in a good headspace coming up with this idea. I don't think I have the strength to come up with this idea if I was in a bad headspace, but I suppose that's really all for my introduction. I will hand you over to Kieran or Wally.
Good man, Shane. Thanks very much for that. Powerful story, man. Powerful story. So, well done on getting this far, man. You know, The world is in your hand now. Keep going. Yeah, you're on a good track. My story, who am I? I'm Kieran O'Loughlin from Portlaoise. Wally the rapper, what people might know me as. If they don't, well then they know now, hopefully. So my past, again, I struggle with mental health and suicide tendencies or ideation. So grew up in Portlaoise, from an early age, wrote poems. Used to always write poems, really kicked in, I suppose, 15 to 16 onwards. Used to write little poems about how my day went and so forth like that. Music was always in our family, passed on from our parents, as probably with everyone's family. Sang in church, sang in school choirs, national concert hall. So at an early age, I got the feel of being a part of a group or being on stage. Onto the teenage years, 18 or 19, I got introduced to ecstasy. Took my first ecstasy tablet, fairly drunk. Yeah, not using that as an excuse. I still took it. But maybe if I wasn't drunk, would I have took it? Maybe not have, but I was drunk, so I took it. And that led me on a 9-year spell of partying every weekend with the lads. When we partied hard, recreational drugs, cocaine, speed, ketamine, obviously ecstasy, bit of LSD, stuff like that. Yeah, every weekend, relentless, shamefully, I'll say this, the worst part of us, well, myself, I'll say it, on a weekend, in one night, on a Saturday night, we went out, 20 ecstasy tablets I took.
Oh, man.
Over the duration of that Saturday night. 2 in one go, a few hours later, another 2, and so forth. I'm blessed, I'm lucky, I'm grateful to be this side of the topsoil in what we took. So the drugs kept coming, the partying kept coming, and when the drugs come, you're numbing something. You're chemically inducing the happiness, which takes away your natural feel-good happiness. So when you come down off the drugs, you have no happiness left inside. So you're left there by yourself in the room, your own thoughts, couldn't handle them, then I just numbed a bit more drugs. And this cycle kept going on like most addictions do. Came to the head with me then, and in 2008, 2009, I was realising that drugs weren't working for me anymore. I was taking them up, the come-downs were getting worse. Yeah. So I moved back home, and I was off the E-tablets, but I was smoking the weed, fairly heavy. So that got to me, where Michael Jackson died that time. Myself and the brother had an altercation or disagreement about someone. That triggered it. I said, listen, I couldn't handle all this crap going on. So I thought the only way for me was suicide. So I left my home, went up to the local cemetery, overlooking the town. I was going to inflict the last pain that I would feel. Just as I was going to do so, seeing a mother coming out of school with her young child. And that changed my train of thoughts. Just snapped out of it. Had a blade in my hand, ready to inflict the last pain. So I threw the blade away into the long grass, went up to the local guard station, broke down up there. In fairness, most people see the guard stations as a place of evil or a place of wrongdoing. Today, or on that day, it was a place of help for me. I went to them, couldn't praise them anymore for what they did, brought me in, settled me, brought me up to the hospital, start my recovery then. So on the path to recovery, a documentary came out. Anne-Marie Kelly from Midlands 103 and Stuart Quinn from Transmitter. We all came together to shoot a documentary about me and my recovery. We shot that, and then we got nationwide workshops with around Ireland.
I remember you came into the youth club. I was only a chap back then. Yeah.
So we done that, done workshops, and my one was obviously the rap group.
Yeah.
Help people express themselves, and RT got the documentary. So it was a great recovery for me. Prior to that then, how did the documentary come about? I staged my own funeral. Yeah. So I went to the local funeral director in Portlaoise, and they asked him kindly, would he loan me a coffin? And he was a bit shocked. He says, what's going on here? Talking about my recent fall, in mental health. I wanted to depict what it would have looked like if I had followed through.
Wow.
So I got suited up.
That's deep, man.
Got into the coffin. I got permission in the church, got laid out in the church. I was lying in the coffin. My mother and father was there, my brothers, sisters, close friends. We took a picture of it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we had to...
That's it, like, they were all in tears and everything.
They were. It was very...
Oh, man.
They said, this could have been the reality of it. So I tried to turn a negative into a positive. in doing that. So
I
that's
suppose, yeah.
that's what stemmed the documentary coming on, is to bring highlight to it. So yeah, the documentary got wind and we'd done the workshops. That was really the road that took.
Yeah.
Reached a lot of people of all ages, different jobs, different professions, solicitors, doctors, had a judge, young kids, all areas were emailing me and said thanks very much for coming forward. My story, as well as yours story, Shane, powerful and all as they are, they're not the only stories that are out there.
Absolutely not.
There's people listening to this who are going through worse and who have been through worse, and they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Letting out your own personal thoughts is very, very personal.
It's hard done as well.
It's hard to let go of them, it's hard to speak them, and it's hard to hear your own tone of voice speaking what you're feeling.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part. It's when you put tone to it. Your mind in here can create any accent or any tone, but when you speak it and you hear your own voice vibrating, it's real.
Brings it to life.
Yeah. So my issues, I suppose with most people's issues, if they have mental health issues or depression, is they're caught. They're trapped within their own mind, man. I read a lot of books since, and the power of now, Edgar Tolt, really changed my mind or life about a year ago, is the power of now, man. The human mind or the ego fears living in the now.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
So we're caught by psychological time or emotional time. Stuff that happened to us emotionally, that's triggering in and is taken over. Or normal time, psychological time, or, clock time, we call it. What time is it now? It's 2:30. I have to be here and somewhere else at 3:30.
Yeah.
You're already jumping to what's, instead of being in the now.
Yeah, living the now, yeah.
So I focus more on that, is being in the now. Lads or men, mental health has no sympathy in anyone.
Absolutely not.
Or
no.
any age category. So I know we're here talking about the men's mental health. It's obviously kids as well and women and all that.
Of course,
Yeah.
I want to shine away from that.
But for the lads out there, most people listening to mental health talks, they don't want to accept that these lads are speaking the truth.
Yeah.
They don't want to say, Jesus, could happen to me. Maybe it is happening to them, or it might fall in your lap someday. Not with you personally.
Yeah.
Could be your younger brother or some close relation. It's worldwide, man. Mental health.
Yeah.
You're born perfect. It's like a cup. The cup is perfect. As you go through life, man, that cup gets emptied. It gets emptier and emptier by someone saying something to you.
Sometimes.
Or someone saying stuff to you, or your confidence being knocked, and you spend the rest of your life then trying to fill back up that cup to perfection. It's finding a good circle of friends and someone to talk to. Yeah. I found it hard. You found it hard. Most people do.
They do, yeah.
The statistics themselves are frightening, and they're going to always be that way. So that's really my story, yeah. As of now, I'm in a better place. I still have depression.
Of course.
I understand I have it now.
Being able to deal with it, isn't it?
I understand the triggers. So, Shane, what triggers your depression?
What triggers my depression would be when the past comes back in the brain. And I know, if that makes it's like reliving things that aren't no more. And that comes down to then you have to quickly accept.
So would being in a certain environment or around a person or a song or a smell.
Even listening to a song, man, brings me back to something pleasant. I have to do one or two things. Snap myself out of it or turn off the song. So
it's good to go back to that place though, man.
It's good to
while
know
it's there and say, look, zone in on how you're feeling.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Because it's a slap of reality. I could be having a good day, listen to a song and I'm like, boom, jeez, I need to nip this in the bud now.
Yeah, it's good to be in tune with your emotions. Know when you're feeling, know when you're this way.
Ever since I went to treatment, man, I can feel things and emotions that I've never felt before because I was numb. All the drugs have you numb,
So what age are you, Shane?
25.
If you're this young 20, there's a 25-year-old now in a nightclub somewhere, or maybe this weekend, be it a girl or a lad, and he's planning on heading out with lads, getting a bag of coke or whatever. What would you say to that man or that woman or that girl of your age?
I'd love to say, what are you doing? But if I'm thinking to myself, I wouldn't listen to anyone. If that was me, back then, I wouldn't listen. I'd learn myself. And that's the bad thing, that's the mad thing about this thing. It's people are going to want to do it themselves. I often have my mother talking down to me, doing this, cop on to yourself. I won't listen to no one until I seen my actions for what they were and what the consequences could have been. But if I could say something to anyone out there, it'd be just just talk to someone, because you're not taking coke because you like it. There's more to it than that. There always is, and anyone that thinks different, they're not clued into what's going on upstairs, you know?
Yeah. You know, I found out, years ago, later, a lad said to me, the only choice you have with drugs is whether you take it or not. That's in your system.
Yeah.
The moment you choose to put up the nostril or swallow the tablet, your choice is gone.
Absolutely.
The drug is in your system. That's taken over.
We were done the day we left treatment. We were told we have a choice now, and we do. Since I left treatment in May, I've only had one proper thought of using it. That wasn't even coke. It was the thoughts of smoking a joint, and I was like, oh, I wonder what that'd be like. Because my head was wrecked, like, you know. And I quickly had to snap over. I was like, what am I thinking? It's like, if I take that one pull of a joint, all the work I've done on myself is gone. I'm not clean anymore. I have no legs to stand on. And, like, my family are going to be like, stay at you, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But instead of that, I picked up the phone, rang my sponsor and said, man, I'm after having a thought of using it. He said, man, it's grand. They're only thoughts.
What has changed since you stopped using it compared to what?
My mindset, man. I'm hungry again for life. I'm hungry to live life, you know, and give back. Even in treatment, before I even left treatment, I stuck my name down to do voluntary work down there. And I went down for a few weeks to do volunteering. I had to get my vaccine and all that before I go back down, like, so I'll probably be back down after Christmas, all going well. But what changed, man? I want to give back, because I've took so much from the world. Not just drugs, like, I wasn't a good person when I was using drugs. Didn't do good things. So now it's like to return the favour.
Yeah.
Like, give back a bit. Not that, like, it'll make me, like, it obviously, of course, giving back will make you feel good about yourself and that, but it's, I want to live a good life, I want to be a good person.
Yeah, no, you know, drug users are not bad people either.
No, absolutely not. No, I'm not saying that.
Sometimes good people can make the wrong decisions.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
But if you take that drug, man, that's that link. Join back up again. That's the whole chain that you just let go.
Chain of addiction, yeah.
It's all join back up. Yeah.
Absolutely. The same, one's too many and 1,000 is never enough.
Yeah.
And I believe that, yeah.
And you know, there's people out there who haven't took drugs.
Still suffer,
Still suffer with mental health. Yeah. So, this documentary or this podcast then, who's it for, Shane?
It's for people that are struggling and they feel like they're on their own.
Yeah.
Because I was there before.
Yeah.
And now I know I'm not on my own. You know, we have numbers there. I have them in front of me, but I'm going to get Lee to stick them on the screen when he's editing this, so they should be up there now. And yeah, you can pause the screen. You can
look at them. You might have Samaritans. They might have Pieta House, Spun Out. There's yourmentalhealth.ie, the HSC, ISPCC, Middoc even, or even your friends.
Yeah. Friends you trust.
Yeah.
Family.
So, what's your goal next? Here you are, you're fresh, you're eager, you're determined, you're focused. What's next for you?
Keep it in the day, Wally, don't we? Keep it in the day. Overall, like, I have goals and that, you know, and I want to do big things for the right reasons. I want to reach as many people as I can with what I do, whether it's music related or not. Like, I have a story there to tell, you know, and if it helps one person, it's worth talking about.
100%.
In front of a camera, in front of a microphone, you know.
So that story that you have to tell is coming up on this song the new song you've coming out, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Or it's one of your stories?
Yeah, part of my story. It's like, I cry, man. Do you know?
That's why we have tear ducts.
Yeah. Like, that's why we were made the way we are made.
Yeah.
And when I was taking drugs, I couldn't cry. I'd probably cry if I couldn't get drugs, man. That's mad, isn't it?
It's not mad, man. That comes with the addiction.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
There's so many addictions, man. Not only drugs, people addicted to sugar, obviously alcohol. There's loads, man. You know?
There's loads, yeah.
Yeah.
What I want to do, man, I just want to reach a lot of people, man. I want to bring people out of the darkness, because there's a lot of people stuck in the darkness, and they feel like, because I'm going by, man, when I was involved in drugs, man, I thought that this is going to be my life. I thought, right, this is tunnel vision. This is going to either get me, I'm either going to go to jail or I'm either going to die, and this is what my life is going to be when it happens. And man, little did I know how wrong I was. Like, so I can only imagine how many other people are out there and they think this is their life. There's no way out. They're trapped, man, yeah.
100%.
But they're not trapped.
Yeah.
Like, you have to take that first step, man. And once you take that first step, then the escalator will start moving for you.
See, people are eager to take the first step because the waiting list that's out there for people to seek mental health or to get seen to, it's not very encouraging, man, to wait that long. You could be in the depths of it or in the lowest point of it.
That'll bring me back to when I was in that bad place a couple of months ago. Man, I looked up on Google. I got a couple of numbers on Google about people in Tullamore, like mental health sources. Man, I rang one person, I think at 11:30 in the morning, 10 times. And like, do you think I got an answer? No, I didn't. I rang another place. Now, in fairness, they were very on the phone. They didn't want to hang up the phone on me. They were just busy that day. They couldn't see me. But in fairness to them now, they were very, like, they knew by the sound of my voice something was wrong. Yeah. But I said, nah, I hung up the phone. You know, when that rejection kicked in, I was like, good luck to you, like, you know. But yeah, there is the mental health, and this, man, I have it in the song, what I think of the mental health system in this country. And it's not good, but I'm not going to give away too much. I'm not bad-mouthing it, I'm just saying what I think about it.
You're saying, you're speaking from your truth.
Yes.
Yeah. And
the first step as well, that first step could be crying, man. Simple little thing. Yeah. Because there's acceptance and tears.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
You know, for me there was anyway.
There's acceptance, man, in not wanting to talk to anyone to some degree. Some people like their own silence.
But that's not good, man.
No, too much of it. If you have your own, too many negative thoughts, sitting in silence is not good.
No.
It's okay to sit in silence another time. Some people like their own company. Someone might be listening in their own company now. I'm saying, yeah, that's me. If you can cope with that,
fair play. It's hard.
It's those who can't cope with it, who find themselves, you know, slowly but surely sitting in their own silence, to drift away from friends, to drift away from what they used to love doing, their passion.
Yeah.
These are signs that you're slipping into some sort of maybe mild depression or some sort of mental health difficulty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pulling back from people, you know, not being engaging. Yeah. It's a lovely world out there, man.
It is. You just have to open your eyes and see it, man.
Yeah. You know, when you're in that state of mind, man, it's very bleak, black and white.
Yeah.
Negative colour.
You're walking around head on the ground, you're not eye contact with no one.
Yeah. So what's the plan then after this song, Shane? Have you an album coming out?
I have 2-3 songs in the bag.
Yeah.
And I've been suggested by a few people to do an album, but I think an album would be a bit, I'd rather do like, EP, is that like a 3 song, 4 song thing? I'd rather start off with an EP probably early next year.
Have no limits, man.
No, no limitations, well, yeah.
Everything happens with that.
I suppose.
Further down the line, man, if you want to do a song together, you let me know.
That sounds good to me, man, yeah.
Be happy to jump on board to help you. For listeners out there, if Shane's there, if anyone's going through difficulty and they might not know where to approach, if you want to send me private mail on my music page or Shane's,
yeah, I'd be happy to enter a link with
we can
people.
direct you to somewhere. We're not counsellors, but we'll meet you at the crossroads.
Yeah. And
direct you on to the next page or next stage of your recovery.
We've been there, haven't we? Like
100%, man. Do no freestyle, Shane.
No.
What?
Not doing no freestyle, Wally.
Not freestyle, no.
Not the time for it, I don't think, man. No. Gosh, man.
I used to.
Come here, I read the first lyric of this song, right? It's
This is the first verse, is it?
My first 2 lines of this song. I'm not giving away too much. It says, "A man just cried today, and he doesn't know it's all right." I hear people that say they're brought up in family homes, and men's not meant to cry.
Yeah.
It's a mad way to be brought up, isn't it?
Stigma.
Yeah. I know, fair enough. Like, let's say my father's 70 odd. Back in his day, and the generation beforehand, maybe in them days, but that shouldn't be the case this day and age.
It's down to, different families pass on different traditions or different beliefs. And that's, you have kids coming out, man, who are confused about their sexuality.
Yeah, there's that as well, yeah.
That's...
Well, it's 2021, man. There's like...
It's more acceptable now. It should be. It's acknowledged to be accepted.
Yeah.
But still, there's those that are even of my age, your age, that are still...
Oh, man, I hear confused. I do be around people and I do hear, like, remarks being made, like, and I just pass no heed on it, man. It's not my place to say, "Oh, that's wrong, what you saying?" Do you know what I mean? Because that's going to jeopardise my peace of mind then, you know? But at the same time, the world, like...
Again, what we said, depression, or that type of mind has no age category.
No, it doesn't, no.
Or gender, that matter.
Yeah, of course.
So...
Statistics, Wally.
Statistics.
In February 2020, a total of Yeah, this was last February 2020. 694 people were admitted into 19 hospitals for self-harm, right? That's only in last February. That was just before the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
And overall in 2020, from January to August in 2020, 4,900 people were admitted into 19 hospitals for self-harm. That's only people that were admitted to hospital. Imagine all the people that didn't, that just wrapped the bandage around it or put makeup on it. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's 4,900 people that on paper that's tried to harm themselves. And you could say, I won't even make a guess at how many people didn't admit themselves to hospital.
Yeah. In 2020, males 259 committed suicide.
259 people.
Yeah. Females 81, which was a total of 340 people.
It's mad.
In 2020, yeah.
A lot of people are just talking time, man.
It's sad that they're a statistic.
It is a fact, isn't
That's
it?
someone's brother, sister, husband,
Son.
wife, uncle, brother, nephew, whatever, yeah. So, what would you say to someone out there, Shane, who's afraid to get help?
You have to think of the consequences of not getting help. The big consequence is death. And then the consequences of that death then is going to be the pain to your family, your loved ones, like the community, like...
And what they're feeling is going to linger. It's a reason it's going to keep cycling on.
It's like you're not going to kill that pain. You're going to multiply it to the people around you. And but they don't see that at the time because they just want out. As we know ourselves, we just want out. But you have to dig deep inside you and realise like the consequences of seeing that action through, because it's only a thought. Do you know, you can talk about thoughts, but that actions follow through. There's no talking about because your
thoughts create emotions.
Yeah,
they
do indeed.
Yeah,
and they make you act on emotions, then, don't you?
Yep, Einstein's theory, isn't it? If you keep doing the same thing, expecting a different outcome.
Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
We're a testament to that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But we changed our
eventually
our habits.
Yeah,
we got different outcomes. That's what this conversation's about. If you're feeling the same way over and over again, it's because you're thinking it. Reach out, get the help, and someone will help you master your own thoughts and change your thoughts and speak about what you're feeling.
Just get advice.
Yeah.
You need someone there to talk positivity into you. And that's not saying, no, you're not seeking positivity, you're seeking help. Do you know what I mean? Positivity comes with help.
Yeah.
Do you know, you might hear what you don't want to hear, but you'll hear what you need to hear. Do you get me? That makes sense.
Yeah.
I hear stuff that I don't like hearing, but it's what I need to hear.
We all do, man. Every day, we're told you're this, you're told you're that. You're every name under the sun, be it good or bad.
Once we're able to look at ourselves in the mirror, man, and tell ourselves what we actually are, and not lie to ourselves.
What are you, Shane?
I'm a recovering addict that turned his life around, that's trying to give back to the world, Wally.
Good man. Yeah.
What are you, Wally?
I'm a legend.
Good man, good man.
Self-praise, man. There comes a time where self-praise needs to step in. Because no one else, this world out there, man, there's not many who's going to give you the praise that you want. So you need to give yourself a bit of self-praise.
Absolutely.
Self-love, man.
Fact.
Yeah. So, expressing your thoughts.
Expressing my thoughts.
Verbally, or you can just write them down. So
yeah, there's a lot of different ways to express my thoughts, express our thoughts. Write music, or just write anything down in general. I remember when we were in treatment, it's not drug related, but it was like mentally related to the mental health side of things. It's write stuff down on a paper, stuff that's going on, to get it out, and you throw it in the fire, you burn it. And you believe, as mad as that sounds, it actually works.
Yeah.
To an extent, it gives you a bit of relief because it's out, like you're accepting it. You after going through the bother of writing it down, there's acceptance in that.
100%. Yeah.
And then thrown into fire, then you're getting that's like a physical
self-therapy.
Yes. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Paper won't refuse ink.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And paper won't criticise you.
No, I won't.
So you can write down whatever you want.
I won't write back to you.
So let's focus on the songwriting process.
Yeah.
When you're creating a song or a song comes into your head, what comes first? The lyrics or the music?
The lyrics.
So you write your lyric out first.
Now, I always done that. That was always the way. And it still is. But while I was in treatment, I got this mad idea, right? like while I was writing, I had creating the background music in my head, thinking that I'd come back to Aidan here and we'd make a lot of bangers, because I had these like dance kind of rap tunes in my head. I don't know why. You think weird things when you're doing treatment, like, you know, but that, like, I did write a lot of music in treatment. I think 50% of the songs I wrote, I imagined like a background to it, like, you know. But yeah, other than being in treatment, the lyrics wrote the music, and then I just have a song there, and when I find a suitable background, I go for it.
The right frequency to create the emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I often had songs and I felt an emotion, but that song has something that's needed for this. Like, I often had 3 songs and I had 2 songs out of them. That makes sense.
So yeah, to do it, man. It's your baby.
Yeah.
You're the artist. You're creating it for the listener to listen to.
Absolutely.
What was I going to say? So Aidan's over here in Rainwater Studios.
In the Kilbeggan, yeah.
How long do you know Aidan? What's your...
I know Aidan since I started rapping. I made a lot of phone calls to people, and it was the pandemic, so there was no studios open. And I guess the only fella to ring me back was that man out there. Yeah. He rang me back, and he was real sound on the phone, and I came straight over to him, and I don't know what my first song to over here. But I brought over Lee he's done a video, the freestyle video for me. And I look back at that and I cringe so hard because I was in the height of it. Like, I know it was the pandemic. This was before I got my few months off the coke. Like, I was in a bad old headspace. You even know by looking at me and the music. But that's
who you are today. That made you who you are.
That's part of my journey. I wouldn't delete my songs. I've had thoughts of it, but I says no, because I'm deleting part of my journey then.
100%, yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah. When you're writing a song, Shane, do you ever get writer's block?
Describe writer's block to me.
Writer's block is where you have the urge or the pulse within you. So I'm dying for a beat, but nothing's coming out in paper. You're not rhyming.
You have it all in here, but you just can't get it out.
You're not rhyming. The words aren't syncing up.
Yeah.
The story's not making sense.
Yeah, I do.
But yet you have that little energy in you.
It does happen. Do you know what I do? Do you know what I do when that happens? And I just start writing a load of different, whatever. I know it's not like a load of different pages of stuff because it's not going to make sense altogether.
Yeah.
But like that's what writer's block is, and I always come back to them then, and I flick through all, like, it's like a little freestyle page of stuff that just random stuff.
Yeah.
And they'd be used, even my notes on my phone. I'd be downtown and I get that urge, and I just out, sit on a bench, smoke a fag, and start typing notes on my phone, like.
Yeah. And
when I often go back to them when I'm writing a song, I maybe get that writer's block. I go into them. Me like notes and that, you know. I
used to have a little black book going around, like a guard. Used to be on the building site. I thought I'd go into my head.
Yeah.
Little black book would be open, back in.
Man, I'm often doing it myself. I was only in the square there last Saturday morning, man. Sitting down having a cup of tea writing away, like writing for this actually.
Yeah. So, your next mission as regards music.
My next mission.
What do you hope to be? What artist? Are you happy in who you are? Are you going to push the limits? Are you going to dip in and out of different genres, different beats, different rhythms? Are you going to explore your voice? Are you going to
I want to do a bit of exploring. I think next year will be an interesting year for me. Like I was saying in treatment there, like I had like some sort of dance beat backgrounds. Don't know if I might, because I know for the summer, because I had writing them thinking of a drop this in the summer, it'd be an anthem. So see what next year could bring. I could.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to dig deeper into myself. I want to take it up a notch. Just that's obviously I have the hunger for it. All I need is the right person to hear me and see something in me, like, you know.
I think the key, man, is being in the right environment for recording. And this place here with Aidan's in Rainwater Studio.
Yeah, it's ideal.
It's relaxed and sound out, nice energy off him.
He even makes us tea now and again.
That's key, man. It's being in the right environment where people just let you do your thing, but give you some constructive criticism.
Absolutely, yeah.
You need that, like, you know.
Of course, I get that, man, and it is needed. Yeah. You can't have someone just letting you go out the door with with nothing good, like, you know. I
done that starting off before I entered the studios, and the stuff is absolutely cringe. Maybe my new stuff's, I mean, present stuff's still cringe to most people.
I know. The present stuff, man, I got to listen to it on the way over here, man. It's different, but it's good.
That's what I'm saying to you, man. Be different.
Yeah.
Just be yourself. And in saying that, man, I wish you the best of luck. Hopefully we'll collab someday whenever you're ready.
I think we will, man. I think we will, yeah.
Keep the journey going. Keep true to yourself. And, you know, you're learning every day, man. You'll mature and keep it real, man, yeah.
Has to be done. Keeping it real is the priority anyway.
Keep on that road you're on. Yeah, and help others. You know, you're a giver now.
Yeah, I am, thank God.
You've been through the
mill.
The storm. You're giving back, yeah. So thanks for having me over.
No worries, pleasure to have you. Thanks for coming.
Thanks to Aidan over in Rainwater Studios in
Kilbeggan, Westmeath, yeah.
I was going to say Tullamore. So yeah, thanks for having me.
No worries, well,
Look forward to hearing this new song and the video that goes with it.
I'm looking forward to this project. I hope to have it out for Christmas, man. So if you've listened to this, Christmas is only a few days away.
Number one on the shelves. Number one. That's the Christmas stocking filler now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for having me, man.
No worries at all.
I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, sure.
You can finish out there if you want. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I hope someone got something out of this. Just don't be afraid to talk. Someone that you trust and that you know that's not going to judge you, talk to them. Like, no matter how bad you think things are, they can always get worse, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in a serious way. Things can always get worse. When I thought rock bottom was where I was, but I know I can go where rock bottom, there's a sinkhole there, and I don't want to find out about it. That's why I'm trying to do the right things in life, But don't be afraid to talk. If you have to write stuff down on a piece of paper and burn it, it sounds mad, but try it. And then if it doesn't work for you, I don't know what to really say. If it doesn't, it will work for you, And if that doesn't work for you, talk to someone. Just express it. Get it out of this. Get it out of the head, because the head's a dangerous place to be and to stay. And I know that from experience, So yeah, this is just about getting people to talk. I have not much more to say about that, so I'll leave it there, folks.